So lately you might have been seeing lethality champions, especially the bot lane in general, getting a longsword as well as 3 pots to start the game. And no, it isn't because they surrendered the lane or they're just trying to feed or troll with a build. It's actually because if you build lethality, a lot of champions want to spike on that as early as possible. When armor's at its weakest, when tanks, if they're going against tanks, won't have as much armor, bonus armor as well. And as such, if you take the longsword in 3 pots, you can turn that into serrated dirk that much earlier. Serrated dirk is already 200 less than a BF sword, but now if you take the longsword to lane, it's only 750 gold. Now for those that don't know how the bot lane works when it comes to backing, timings, and things like that, in all lanes, just period, you get 500 starting gold to go to the lane with, that you can spend on whatever starting items you want. If you go with the Doran's Blade and the pot, it costs 450 of that and the pot costs 50. That's all of your starting gold, and now you have to farm about 1300 gold worth of minions to be able to back for that item. Even though crit champions want to get the Hurricane first and complete that item, you still get the BF sword on your first back, which is still 1300 gold. It's part of why you kind of don't see crit champions right now. They just really take a long time to rev up against what is the meta. With lethality champions, you want to get the lethality going as soon as possible. So if you get the longsword and you get 3 pots to cover any chunking out you might get because you don't have the lifesteal on the Doran's item, you can heal back up with extra pots that you now have, as well as only have to farm up for about 750 gold. That's almost twice as less gold as you have to get for the BF sword. So now you can go on your first back, which is relatively early in the game too, especially if you get first blood in lane, and suddenly you have lethality maybe like 3 minutes into the laning phase, and then you can use that to just bully the enemy laner as well, and then maybe get your Ghost Blade early, and that's the general idea of it. It's just about spiking earlier on a build that's supposed to be earlier based. So for one, it's not for every AD carry. If you're a crit based AD carry, you're still stuck with having to take the Doran's item first. You know, BF sword doesn't build out of longsword, and sure, maybe you can get Gauntlet or the attack speed dagger for like the Zeal item, but Zeal and crit just period doesn't really work without damage behind it, which you don't have early into the game. So this is only for lethality AD carries, kind of things like Jhin, Varus, Misfortune. And yeah, you don't have to lifesteal from the Doran's pot or the Doran's Blade, but you have extra pots because most of your damage isn't really auto-attacking anyway, so lifesteal isn't as great on you. It's not worthless, but it isn't as great on you as it would be for auto-attacking AD carries anyway. So that's the gist of it. For me personally, I thought this was already a thing, because when I used to be even worse at last hitting than I am now, I'd actually just take my starting gold to lane, maybe try and get the first blood, or just farm, and then I already have 500 gold already there, use the extra gold and just try and spike early on a late game carry, because that's very devastating if you can bring a late game carry's spike to the mid game. It's that kind of concept, if that makes sense. You want to just kind of spike as early as possible and use that advantage as early as possible in the game. So if you see that, that's pretty much the gist of why, and it might not just be AD carries, assassins that build AD might be doing this too, and that's the whole idea. You want to just spike earlier as possible as you can on a build that's supposed to be early game based, mid game based. So it's not for everybody, it's just for lethality users. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video this far if you did. If something wasn't quite cleared up in this video, feel free to ask me about it in the comment section below, as well as like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. We hit 1,000 followers, by the way, over there for updates and stuff on videos at the FireGridIFS. I don't know which video will be next, because life can be quite a mess. So until next time, take care from the FireGridIFS. Thank you for watching.